2. All right, it's Friday, May 25th, 2012. Thanks for tuning in to the 404 show on CNET TV. I'm Jeff Bagala.
And I'm Justin Yu.
This is the show where we're in too deep.
Yes.
We're up to our necks in it.
There we are.
And to help us dig out is the one, the only, formerly stupid, not so much anymore, Mr. Andy. How are you, dude?
I'm great. How you doing?
That was the most disingenuous response.
Yeah, I'm a lot better now that you're in
I'm
our
hungry.
presence. For what?
A chicken cutlet hoagie.
This guy with his hoagie talk.
What's wrong with that?
No one says hoagie up in the Northeast.
What do they
It's a
say?
Pennsylvania thing to say hoagie. You say sub or hero up here.
Yeah, but they don't mean
What?
anything. Yeah, but boop boop.
No, that's true. It's like a regional dialect sort of situation.
It's
like
stupid,
as
like
opposed
a
to like
sub.
soda and pop.
You know what we call it in California?
What? A
Sandwich.
grinder. A grinder.
Sandwich.
What do they call it? Grinders.
They call it disgusting because they put sprouts on it.
Ugh. Do they?
Hoagies and grinders.
Love-
Hoagies and
And he's like,
grinders.
meatloaf sandwich.
It's lamento.
You don't know what
Like
I'm
it's
saying?
like a sub. It's like a submarine or a hero. That sounds stupid to me.
A hoagie is
And I should
appropriate.
Hoagie.
Did they invent that in Philadelphia? No, they did not.
Where did they invent it?
I don't know.
What's your favorite kind of trail mix?
Hoagie.
Yeah, what's your favorite kind of trail mix? Because trail mix was a big topic of conversation on the show yesterday.
Wow.
Excuse me.
I hate trail mix.
Do you really?
Yeah. Why is this funny?
It's just so stupid because we spent so much time talking about it the other day. It was ridiculous.
It's an inside joke.
Where did they come up with the name trail mix? Is it because you eat it while you're
When you go
hiking?
hiking, yeah.
Let's eat some trail mix. How about
Not
let's
ironic
eat
anymore.
It's not. Now it's really good.
a cheeseburger? I mean, why do I need to eat?
Because it's mobile. It's
It's
mobile
always-
food.
Everything's mobile unless I have like a
Everything's mobile.
turkey. It's not mobile.
Everything's mobile these days. Even trail
cheeseburger's
mix.
mobile. You put it in a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And you stick it in your pocket. Delicious.
You
Yeah.
are half an idiot.
Good hot
Freaking
good
sandwich
cold.
bags making everything mobile.
3/4. I'm real hungry right now. I'll talk about food all freaking day.
We were
Yeah.
in too deep. We were not lying. Our show title implies such a thing because, man, oh man, we can't get out of this food hole right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're hungry.
I'm hungry.
What do you want?
A couple
said.
things. I'm kind of in the mood for a cheeseburger too.
Yeah.
Perhaps a cheeseburger, like a cheesesteak. I
This
was
is-
watching that video,
Which video?
the video where you did an imitation of me.
Oh, right.
Which is
Okay.
back up, and I was
Yeah,
like,
we should
can I
wait, we
have
should get
a-
our hands. Is that on YouTube?
it's no. I think you posted it to my
Oh.
Facebook page.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's right.
You remember that? You
It
remember
was in
that?
his office.
I did a good impression of Andy.
Yeah, it's like I would like a cheesesteak and an apple pie, which is just silly. No one would eat that. Maybe a cheesesteak like with a pizza wrapped around it
No, I wouldn't do that.
would be tasty, and that's actually a dish at a number of Philadelphia establishments. The apple pie isn't. That's just gross. It's just silly, Jeff. It's
It
just
is silly. It is silly. We're off to a silly start because today's the first day before a long weekend.
Yeah,
There's
that's
no
right.
one here. We're literally the only 4 people in the office. Everyone else has gone home early.
Yeah, I think they've locked the doors.
And we're in for the
We're
night.
stuck.
All right.
And there's no food except for trail mix in the
That's
vending machine.
Do you have plans? I mean, we're talking about food here. Are you going to any barbecues for Memorial Day?
A couple things hanging out in the city. I'm
Yeah.
gonna stay in town.
Yeah.
This is like the first weekend where you can really stretch out your legs and have that barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
You know, unfortunately, it's Memorial Day is really for, you know,
Out of towners.
well, no, I'm saying
Going
like
at it.
what it represents.
Oh, what does it represent?
You don't know what it
Yeah,
represents?
I know what it represents.
Tell us.
Labor Day.
It is not Labor Day. Labor Day is Labor Day.
Yeah.
It represents the memorialization
Of the soldiers.
memorializing.
Right.
in American
So, you
wars.
know, we sort of take that time to get fat and eat, you know, hamburgers and stuff like that.
Right.
But this is like that sort of summer starting point.
You know what I do
I'm
every
psyched about
Memorial
that, for
Day
sure.
is watch YouTube videos of soldiers coming home to their pets.
It's nice.
Have you ever seen those videos before?
Like dogs and
They
cats
are
freaking out.
heartbreaking.
Yeah. Just losing their minds.
It's so adorable. I mean, that or like a lot of fathers will come home and like surprise their kids in class and stuff, and it'll be like a heartfelt embrace.
Yeah.
Oh man, if you want to get cheesy,
I don't like
weekend.
don't get me wrong.
that.
Obviously, anytime a soldier comes home and sees their daughter or son, and they're like, "Oh my God," I don't like when they surprise them. I don't think that's fair.
Why?
It's like I would freak out and I would just be like too emotional.
That's the
you know?
point.
They were like, "Oh, Dad's not gonna come back for another 3 weeks." Just kidding, here he is. And like that's a lot of trauma to put through like a little kid. I feel.
I agree.
You know what I mean? The kid's like, "Oh man,"
Then when they actually do go away to war or something, they're gonna be like, "Come on, he's gonna
be like, "No,
he's around
really
the corner,
here,
isn't he?"
Yeah, you're playing with their emotions.
I think that they should make a montage of the soldier coming home to either kids or dog videos.
Oh, there is.
Yeah.
There's
I'm
plenty
sure
of
plenty of
playlists.
But the music should be the Rudy soundtrack because that makes anything emotional. It's like
For sure.
dun 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 dun. Does it just
Can you do that for 10 more minutes?
I don't even. I can't even.
Yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about. I've seen Rudy. Let's see how long you can keep this
Come on, you know the song.
I can't draw from memory.
Yeah, you can.
I can't.
Do you know the
I got
song?
it, yeah.
He got it. It's not that bad.
Don't placate him, Richard. You have no idea what he's
Yeah,
talking
seriously,
about.
don't humor this guy.
Maybe if you sing it.
Rudy.
You didn't. I could do that. Oh, that song that goes. Dun, 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 dun,
No,
dun,
that's
dun,
the
dun.
other one. No, that's not right.
I'm speechless.
You
right
don't know
now.
the song?
Just because Richard comes in out of nowhere
Yeah,
and
he
just joins
knows
you.
it.
You need
It's
to-
Exactly.
It's the super emotional,
Yeah.
super soundtrack.
I thought
Holy
everybody knew that song.
I mean, I know
No.
I remember the film. I don't remember the score. I don't remember the
No, but you
soundtrack.
remember that one. That's like
It's like Dumb and
that's,
Dumber over
that's
here.
the ultimate.
Want to hear
in-
the most annoying sound in the world?
No, but I'm serious. Like, he comes in mid note.
Yeah.
Like, just he's like, "Brr, brr, brr,
Yeah.
brr,
You
brr,
gotta, like
brr."
harmonize here.
He starts playing the trombone.
That was
Anyway.
yeah.
That was amazing.
All right.
It was,
That's one of those moments right there.
it was a special moment that needs to be memorialized
I think so.
forever.
Well said, Mr. Andy. Let's switch into a different gear, shall we?
Yeah,
Please. My
everyone.
God, please. Couple stories we want to get to in our rundown today. There's a lot of interesting stuff happening.
Sure.
I want to hear about this Deadspin article that basically explains how you can avoid being busted by the Facebook cops of college sports.
Yeah. So Deadspin has had a couple of really interesting articles lately, and you know me, I'm not a sports fan.
Right. I'm surprised you were reading Deadspin because Deadspin is basically like the
Right.
tabloid sports blog sort of thing.
Yeah. No, I never go to this, but it's been linked out to a lot of other news blogs. And basically, they've been talking about schools monitoring their athletes for illicit behavior. So they broke this article last week about this company called Varsity Monitor.
Right.
And that's an external company that colleges pay to basically check up on athletes and warn them on how they can maybe negatively affect a college's personal brand
It's kind of smart.
for their activity outside of the field, right? So if they're partying a lot or using expletives on social networks, then that can reflect badly on the college. And schools will pay companies like this up to like $10,000 per athlete a year to watch these guys.
It's almost like
Or
PR. It's almost like PR damage control.
Right.
For college athletes.
Right.
What I don't understand is how come these colleges don't I mean, these colleges make millions and millions and millions of dollars off these athletes, but then they have to outsource this sort of like damage control thing? I
Well-
don't understand. Why is that not internal?
It's because these companies basically have one app that that the schools require their athletes to install on their phones that gives them access to all their social networks. Whereas if the colleges did it, they would need passwords to each of like Twitter,
Right,
Facebook,
okay.
Instagram, etc.
That's still not a good excuse.
Which is still crazy though, because in their contract, all these athletes are required by their schools to install the app, so
Isn't that
they'll know
crazy?
they're monitored.
Isn't that crazy?
I think it's crazy that NCAA athletes don't get paid at all.
I agree with you on that, but that's
They're
another
adults.
that's another story.
Other conversation entirely.
That's another conversation for another day.
Yes.
But yeah, it's kind of nuts.
Yeah, what's even more nuts is that here, check out the screen, and you can view the whole document here. But basically, there's certain keywords that the app uses to identify
Raises flags.
questionable behavior.
Yeah.
So trigger words are categorized from a scale from 1 to 3. And words are associated to this number. So, for example, the word bitch is a level 1 low risk,
We got a level 1 low risk.
red flag, but still raises questions.
3 is the most.
Oh, 3 is
flagrant.
the worst. So I'm going
Okay.
to use this quote. Negro is a level 3 word.
Okay.
And as well as the N word, obviously.
Okay.
Um,
Really?
Yeah. And there's
Okay.
different categories. So there's like
Sure.
racial.
Yeah.
So cracker is 1.
Yeah.
Gook is 2.
Yeah.
Negro is a 3.
Okay.
And then there's also alcoholic categories too.
Really?
So that can maybe identify like a crazy party where someone's talking about it on Facebook.
Well, I was going to say most college athletes are under 21, but
Right.
are they? I don't know. Sometimes it depends.
50%.
50%.
Yeah.
But it's weird because those drinks are also categorized in that
course.
1 to 3 scale.
Yeah.
So like Bombay Sapphire is pretty harmless at a level 1.
Zima's
Zima's
zero.
like not even on the phone.
Zima is a 10
Yeah.
because they're concerned about any college athletes that are actually going to perform well for them
Right.
that actually drink Zima.
Exactly.
Yeah, Mike's
For
Hard
sure.
Lemonade not on the list.
You're off the team.
You're
You're
drinking
demoted.
Zima. Goodbye.
What do you think is at number 2? It's
For
a beer.
drinks?
It's a beer.
I don't know. Budweiser.
Exactly.
Really?
Bud Light at number 2.
Milwaukee's best.
Milwaukee's best.
Very popular.
Not on the list, but probably still at
Milwaukee's
number
Best
2.
is a super popular beer amongst college people. Maybe because of how cheap it is.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons that's been
What about Natty
speculated.
Light? Natty Light
Natty
is
is as well.
You know what Natty Light
No,
is?
what is that?
It's natural light. Is what it stands for.
It's not
I
natural.
think a 30
It's
pack is like
artificial.
$1.70.
What about that bitter beer face beer? I like that beer. You know, like bitter beer face. That commercial with the guy. And
Yeah, I don't
he
know
was
which
drinking-
beer they're
That was
describing.
Bush beer, maybe.
Bush.
Bush, possibly.
Okay.
I don't know.
What do you
And-
guys think a level 3 alarming alcohol would be? Something
Jack
that
Daniels?
they'd be really nervous about. Jack Daniels, not on the list.
Tequila.
Not at number 3. Tequila's at number 3.
Yeah, tequila.
Also on there is Colt 45, so all the malt liquors
Ugh.
are at number
Ooh.
3 because apparently you just do crazy shit when you drink malt liquor. Also, Four Locos on there too.
Four Loko should be a category 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Four Loko, you're
They should
asking
just
for
immediately
trouble.
call the cops.
You know what else should be on there? Freaking Red Bull.
Yeah.
No.
Jaeger's on here.
No, Jaeger.
Jaeger's on here.
Jaeger's the
People
code
get pissed
3.
when they drink
Code
Jaeger.
3, Jaeger.
Jaeger is probably the most dangerous cordial
It's not.
that exists.
Dude,
Yeah.
Jaeger is bad deer blood, man.
It's not deer blood.
It's
that's
nicknamed deer blood.
but that's
It's
that's
clearly
a-
not deer blood.
It's an old wives' tale.
It's clear
there's-
they are clearly not bottling deer blood.
No, but it's. I mean, it's not deer blood. It's human blood. But it's like you don't believe me.
It's not human blood.
Distill it.
Let's
I'm
see what
telling you.
happens. It's AB positive.
Oh, negative.
Oh, negative. That's
It
what
depends on the
the fermentation period.
season it's bottled in.
Oh, you're crazy. You're out of
The
your mind.
sexual category is really weird too. So
tread
again, these are
lightly.
keywords here that
Tread lightly.
cause colleges
Behave
to be nervous
yourself.
about their athletes.
Behave yourself.
So for that, at the number 1 category, BJ.
Okay.
So BJ is pretty harmless, right? No
That's
big
just
deal.
the one?
BJ, HJ, those are both on the list at 1.
Yeah, but
I
what-
would
there's
say
lots of-
HJ should be 1 as a flag on Twitter.
Okay, yeah.
BJ should be 2.
You think?
No,
BJ
I don't think so. Because what if it's like there's lots of guys nicknamed BJ? Hey, what's up, BJ?
Right,
Let's
there you
go
go.
to grab a burger or chicken cutlet sandwich. You know, like let's go do something like that. It's
Hey BJ, let's go get a cutlet sandwich on
Hey.
Facebook. That happens all the
yeah,
time.
and then
You're crazy. What
Yeah.
else?
Number 2, the word. This is funny. Tapped dat. So literally with
Tapped
a
dat
DAT. Yeah. So the
is-
phrase tapped dat
Is number 2.
is number 2.
That's
'cause
worse
then
than
you're
a
talking
beach.
actually about someone.
isn't that the
you
name
hooked
of the
up with.
Brian Tong show? The Tap That app.
Tap that
That
app.
would be a level 3.
It's not. It's tap
he-
that,
that,
app.
yeah.
Not if it was tap that app. That's 2. That's a mouthful.
Right. Number 3 is the weirdest though.
Tread lightly.
No, it's not bad. The word gay is a number
Really?
3 alarm. Yeah.
Really?
On the for Varsity Monitor.
This is
company,
mind
gay
blowing
is
that they
number
have all that they've somehow categorized.
Yeah, I want to know the methodology.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to know the the method behind the madness.
three.
There.
Yeah. But
pretty
it's very
nuts.
bizarre.
Yeah, that's
Interesting
crazy.
story.
That is an interesting story. Very much so. When we get back, we'll talk about something that is really making headlines today, and we've talked about something about it in our past, basically about why society is failing young men. And
We have a good example of that right here.
hopefully he can speak to such a thing right after this. Stick around. A lot more 404 on the other side of this break.
This is the 404 MRFers, the show where we all sing songs.
Welcome back to the 404. Hope you enjoyed your break, as did we. We got a 3-day weekend coming up,
I'm super excited.
as you should be. No show on Monday, celebrating Memorial Day.
Which is, as Justin mentioned, celebrating Labor Day.
Right.
Yes, that's right.
And
What?
Memorial Day, the day where we
We all get
celebrate
together
Labor Day.
and do labor.
And then okay, so check it out. So 4 episodes next week, and then I'm going to E3 a week from
finally.
Sunday.
Vacation for
And we
all of
haven't
us.
really figured out what's going to happen while I'm gone.
But we will before then. And
But we
announce it
will,
next
and we'll
week.
figure it out a week from today,
Sure.
and let you know a week from today. Okay?
Cool.
So that's that. Interesting topic that's made headlines today and yesterday. I was watching CNN before I left the house this morning, and they had an author on who is basically claiming that society, the internet and what have you, easily accessible pornography and other undesirables, according to some professionals, quote-unquote professionals. And this is actually the woman right here, Nikita Duncan, Dr. Nikita Duncan. I don't know if she's a doctor.
Huh.
Well, she's
Say-
probably a doctor. If
Well,
her
no,
name's
it
a
says
doctor.
Dr. Philip Zimbardo and Nikita Duncan, so I think it's Nikita's not a doctor. I think that's what it is. Anyway, she was on CNN this morning talking about how film, TV, internet, pornos, basically removing the natural sort of evolution of a male child's life.
Right.
And, eliminating the experiences that maybe possibly every young man should have growing up, and saying that the access to these sorts of stimuli are curbing the way children interact with other people.
Right.
So, Mr. Andy,
Yeah.
you spend a lot of time alone. You navigate through some of the worst places on the internet on a daily basis.
The ghetto of the internet.
The ghetto
yes.
of the internet, if you will. I mean, no, but seriously, what do you think about this claim? Because I immediately took offense to it because, number one, I feel like, I don't know, we grew up, we're all relatively the same age. We grew up in a time where the internet wasn't as pervasive as it is now.
Right.
Maybe it became like more in our mid-teens is when the internet for me was like really, really starting to kick up and get going. So I guess, this Nikita woman on CNN said the average child is exposed to porn at the age of 11 now.
Right.
Which I thought was awesome.
I think, like, to put it bluntly, it's all crap.
I agree. I don't know if you can put it
sensational.
bluntly, but I think it's crap.
It's sensational. They pick like a handful of movies. Like, art imitates life, life imitates art. Sure, it's like a vicious circle, but you're gonna say 3 slackers from some movies, video games, and porn, and there's a huge problem with men in society. They had the Playboys behind the section
did.
in the 50s.
They did. It's arguably easier to get your hands on a Playboy than it is to go, right? When I was that age, getting your hands on something like that wasn't tough. I mean, yeah, I guess it's tougher than getting online.
But what is the statement? Access to pornography earlier? Just
I mean, that's what it
Yeah.
is. It's basically saying that the way human beings have developed in society for the last 100 years or whatever.
But
is
this
now-
article is talking about it in relationship to men, though.
Yeah, just
like,
men.
Yeah, saying that like men don't have a positive role model. In their
Right.
relationship. But it's a bunch of things. They're saying that it's the lack of American fathers raising their own kids. They're saying it's video games distracting boys from learning how to be a positive male figure. And then also it's the internet taking distractions away from schoolwork.
The average teenage guy plays about 13 hours of games a week. That's
Yeah.
676 hours a year. Or if you want to just call it the entire month of February.
right.
I don't
Do we pick February with leap year or without leap year?
go F yourself. I just think that, no, it's with. I
Okay.
just think that,
Thank you.
You're welcome. I don't think, I don't think that could have been replaced with anything. It could have been replaced with comic books. It could have
Yeah.
been replaced with listening
It's
to
a diversion.
vinyl records.
We have more things to occupy us and cause us to
Right.
procrastinate.
Correct,
But
sir.
you can't say to me that's the reason kids aren't growing up to be men.
Yeah.
I buy much more the American father, the American parents. I mean, there's probably bad dads and good dads, but I don't buy the fact that popular culture, internet, pornography, movies.
I mean, right? I agree. I don't think
video games are having a dramatic effect on it.
I would hope popular culture is not, but you kind of see it, right? Do you not? With what's popular now and the way people act. I think that's a different story.
Give me specific.
I feel it's just the whole Jersey Shore phenomenon, like how that affects people and what people think is good and bad.
Yeah.
And the way they treat each other.
To an extent, but I think the vast majority of people see it as a parody, and they're not going to be like, these are my role models.
Have you been to Point Pleasant lately?
But it's always been like that, and those people were always their role models. It's blown to a little bit of a greater extreme because it's on television, but
I know
the argument for the accessibility of the internet is kind of interesting because no one ever talks about how easy it is to do something positive with the internet now.
Exactly.
Like things like Khan Academy, for example, that basically has video tutorials on how to do everything. There's like Code Academy if you want to teach yourself programming. If you have that positive influence in your life, you could do anything on the internet. Like, you could start a Kickstarter if you have a great idea, or put your thoughts down on a Tumblr. There's so much on the internet.
Very good point.
MIT had open courseware on MIT on your tip of education.
Right.
Literally has every single course lecture for free available.
If you're going to let a kid go on the internet and do whatever he wants, he's going to look up porn.
Of course.
Guaranteed. He's going to play video games all day long. That's what I'm saying, though. It's the parents' responsibility to make sure their activities on the internet are progressive.
So you, all of us can remember that time when it was basically like, okay, here it is.
Yeah.
The internet's yours.
Oh, the glory days.
Like
of
that original moment, maybe not a specific moment, but when you had a decent connection.
Great feeling.
And you were like, here's the internet.
Any music
what are you going to
want.
do?
Yeah.
Right? Was the first thing you did was like, how can I blow
pictures,
up?
Erotica.
It's like, how can I blow up a building? No, it wasn't like that, you know?
Well, but this is, I think there's another point here, too. It's America is much more conservative than Europe in terms of sexuality.
Right.
It's obviously increased globalization with the ability to share, ideas, content with Europe. It's just a different thing there. And I don't think that, their opinion of sexuality negatively, even when children are exposed to it relatively young, is a bad thing. It's a natural thing. So why would that specifically create problems in terms of the development of male specific?
Right. No, I think they're more worried about social interactivity. Like that's the focus, at least for the interview I watched this morning. Was the negative influence. I don't like the subject too. They're like, why are we obsessing over people in Knocked Up and hall passes? What? So 20 years ago when we were obsessing over people in Stripes and movies like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same sort of thing.
They put like 4 movies here, and I don't think anybody's like, oh, Knocked Up, I want to be that guy.
Nobody wants to be an unemployed Seth Rogen
right,
who knocked somebody up with no money. No one wants to be that.
It's a freaking comedy. Like, people are,
Animal House also existed decades ago, too, and not everybody joined a frat and drank beer every single day.
Thank you. Animal House.
There's countless examples.
Although they are sort of, you would maybe want to have that.
Yeah.
As a young, when I saw that as like a 14-year-old, I was like, that looks kind of cool, yeah.
The article that we're talking about here makes kind of a good point about video games, and I wanted to play devil's advocate with you about this.
Oh, you've never done that.
No, I know, but they're talking about how video games may be tied to attention deficit disorder, and it also cites this research at Iowa State University. They're saying that, 85% of all stimulant medications are prescribed to American boys, not girls. So my question to you is, do you think that that video games are inhibiting the ability for American boys to concentrate on their schoolwork because they're so distracted all the time?
Huh?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Did you say something?
It's not video games itself.
I don't know, because video games are the most stimulating form of media you could do. We've talked about that before. Like, you have to immerse yourself in the game, and that's the point, is to kind of remove yourself from everyday life. I feel like, I can't sit still anymore.
As someone who never plays games, it's tough for you to speak
That's
to
why
that.
I'm asking you.
I think they're super engaging.
Yeah.
I just also think that if you watch a baby, if you watch a 3-year-old who's watching TV, you are not getting their attention either.
Right.
Okay?
But don't you think that kid's going to be so bored when he picks up a book at school because he's like, oh man, I can't control anything in here. Nothing is blasting at me right now.
I don't know. I don't
think
know.
it's the
I don't-
opposite.
so passive
I think that video games
comparatively.
would potentially, help somebody's concentration.
I think they
because it's
improve, like,
interactive,
hand-eye.
It's engaging.
I think it helps their
about
concentration when they're playing video games, but
No,
that skill
it's just
doesn't pull
you
over
have to have some
like
type of focus.
studying math.
But if you're saying that video games distract people,
Yeah.
right? Well, when they're playing video games, what else should they be doing? Do you know what I mean?
I'm saying not while they're actually playing. Like when they stop playing and it comes time to do something that's far less stimulating, they're not able to focus as much because those video
I don't
games
buy that.
really hyped it up for
I don't
them.
buy that.
No, nobody likes to do math except for like 3 people. Like
Right.
it was the same now as it's been like 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Now we're just like, oh, the reason they don't like to do math
Right.
is because video games. People love to do math back in the day.
Yeah.
No,
I
it
agree.
was
Back in the day, the alternative to video games weren't video games. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the alternative to books weren't video games.
Why? You
They
can
were
when?
what?
When are you talking?
They were like going outside. Like,
When?
even when we were kids.
No, yeah, there were
before
arcades.
video games
there were
came out.
arcades.
Yeah.
And we went to the arcade. And
But
that's
you
what we
couldn't
wanted
get
to
it
do.
as easily. You had to have someone drive you to the
All
arcade.
right,
It
but
cost
that's
money.
what you still wanted to do.
Now that
it
it's
still
at
costs
home,
money.
it's so much more accessible.
If you make the argument that potentially, obesity, kids are fatter because they're staying in to play video games instead of
Yeah.
going
Sure.
outside, I'll buy that.
I'll buy that
but I
before
don't.
I
I don't buy the concentration thing because I think anytime you have something interactive, the benefits far outweigh the negatives.
I
You
also-
sit somebody in front of a TV. Then which has been around much longer.
Sure.
I think that could potentially harm someone's ability to focus.
Chat room's bringing up a lot of good points. Nick J. Jack says they're just trying to turn video games into a scapegoat. I think video games are not and will not be the last scapegoat. It was rock and roll. It was the telephone. It was everything.
I'm not saying it's just video games, but it can't be helping.
Jazz
well,
music.
look, it's fine. You know what? The only thing I think video games are doing, and this sort of leads into what you were saying, is that it makes everything else pale in comparison.
That's what I'm saying.
Should schools need to compete with the engagement that a video game provides for a child? No, but at the same time, I would learn a lot better in high school if they made all my math classes deal with hockey stats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I feel like, yeah, maybe, you got to play a little, give and take a little bit and figure out a way to engage people outside of their home. Because when I was young, when I was in high school,
Right.
I wanted to play games
Because
and I wasn't
books
really
are boring. Books were
but
boring
but
even when there was no alternative.
But they're
to
not
books.
though. They're not because when you're in high school and you read the Odyssey, that stuff is awesome.
Yeah.
Like that's really cool. And,
Yeah.
and someone who's super into fantasy and games,
agree.
like they'll dig that.
Yeah.
So there's ways to do that. You know what I mean? It's all about engaging people. And school has gotten this such a bad reputation. That's got to change.
Well, I think
it
it's-
just doesn't evolve. It hasn't really evolved. I
That's
feel like.
key because I think that
Like, that's easy
kids
for
today
schools to
relate
do
to
that.
things differently because they're sort of born in this world where they are born with the internet, have access to multiple forms of technology. So relate to them in that level in terms of what you're teaching them. Relate to the way that they take in information, whether it's in terms of interests, like you mentioned, hockey, or just mediums, more computers, more via games, something along those lines.
My Dougie in the chat room says, "Hey, reading can make your eyes go bad too. Don't forget about that.
Good point,
It's true.
Dougie.
It also makes you super tired.
So we're telling all the parents listening to this show is use the $400 you would spend to buy an Xbox for your kid and donate that to the school's technology program, right? Because then that will make them that's a
More
good
engaged.
Yeah,
No,
more
it's not going to
engaged.
hurt,
and
It's
it
not
won't be
gonna
at
hurt.
home.
They're taking out all these extracurricular activities.
Do you think
right?
anyone would ever do that?
I
though?
don't know. It's not my problem right now. I don't have a
None
child.
of us are parents. Who
None
cares?
of us are parents. We don't have kids.
Let the world burn.
Let the schools go down in flames. Is what we have to say.
Yeah, the point is that there's never just one thing to scapegoat. It's not
Yeah.
TV, it's not video games.
For sure. Lesson learned.
It's the 404.
That's going to do it for us. 866-404-CNET is the number to call. Big thanks to Andy for being on the show today.
Anytime, fellas.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Andrew. Always
Gonna
a
get
pleasure.
some
sir.
lunch.
Get some lunch, get some hoagies and grinders. Okay?
Both
Both on the same plate.
with a pizza.
That's disgusting.
God, get some vegetables.
Give us a call or email us over the holiday weekend, the 404 at cnet.com. Enough with the pet photos. No, we've gotten a lot, but thank you for that. Really appreciate that. So again, no show on Monday. We'll be back live on Tuesday with a brand new show. and then after that it's E3. Probably do some E3 preview stuff next week. Maybe we'll bring in the Frush Stick to talk about what we can expect from the most underhyped E3 in decades. It's like nobody wants to go to this thing. Myself maybe included. I don't know,
but there's
man.
In-N-Out over there.
There is In-N-Out, and if the Devils make the finals, I'll be out there for Game 3 and 4. So maybe
Beat
that's
up as
gonna
many
be kinda
Kings fans
Oh,
as you can.
I hope that happens. We'll see. Thanks again for tuning in, guys. We will see you tomorrow. I'm Jeff Bacalar, Tuesday, man.
And I'm Justin Yu.
It's the 404 High Tech, Low Brow. Thanks again to Andy. We'll see you.